Welcome to Piano Video Lessons Year 1, Unit 3, Lesson 6. This is video number 38 on YouTube, and if you want to join us on pianovideolessons.com, just click the information card here in the corner. So when we play piano, we're always moving between fingers on the keys here, usually on white keys so far, sometimes on black keys, but the secret is knowing which finger to play next and which key to play with that finger. In our hand exercise, we were opening up our hand, and that's a little bit of an advanced technique, but it's really just nice to get our hand moving around on the keys. In this case, we're going to be looking at groupings of notes and deciding which fingers we would use without reaching. So in a case where we're given a finger number, like here it says right hand 5, and then no more finger numbers are given. In this case, we have to think about and determine which fingers to play. So we do that by looking to see if the notes are moving by neighbors, or by skips, or by a fourth. So if we're moving by a fourth, we're going to go from 5 to 2, or possibly from 4 to 1. If we're moving by neighbors, we're going to use neighboring fingers. If we're moving by skips, we're going to skip a finger number. So using that information, let's go ahead and determine which fingers we will play in each of these little melody sections. So here it says right hand 5 starts on this note. It doesn't matter what note, it isn't even on a clef. So which fingers will I play on the way down? So looking at this, I see it goes from a space to a line to a space to a line to a space. And it moves down one note each time. So that's moving by seconds. So going with the right hand from a 5, we'll move to a 4 and a 3 and a 2 and a 1. When you write finger numbers, you always write them outside of the staff. For right hand, we write them above the staff. For left hand, we write them below the staff. Next exercise. Right hand 1 begins in a space, and then I see line, space, and so these are all moving by neighbors. So from 1, we'll go to 2, to 3, to 4, and to 5. Then we have this next exercise. This one does not begin on 1 or 5, so it's going to be a little bit more of a thought process. So we're starting with right hand 3 in a space, and then it moves to a line. Can you tell what distance that is? It's a neighbor. So my next finger after 3, neighbor moving up, will be finger 4. So here I'm going from 3 to 4. And then from 4, I'm going to a space, and that one goes up one note, so it goes to 5. From this space, I go to this space, which is the same space, so guess what? Same finger, so 5 again. And then from 5, going down to the line, we're going to go to 4. Now this is ideally something that you're going to become good at doing without writing it in. We don't want to write finger numbers in on our pieces. We just want to be able to think about fingering patterns based on interval distances. Let's keep going. We have left hand starting with 5 and going space, line, space. So here we have to 4, to 3, to 2, to 1, all neighbors. Left hand beginning on 1 and going down to space, to line, to space, to line. Again, all neighbors. So we have 2, to 3, to 4, to 5. Now we have left hand starting on 3 and going up, same, and down. So let's have a look. From line to space, is that a neighbor? Yes, it is. So if I started on left hand 3 and went a neighbor, I would go to left hand 2. And then space to line, also a neighbor, so from 2 to 1. Now, this 1 repeats again. So I have 1, 1, and then I have line to line. Is that going to go to 2? It's going to go to 3 because they're both line notes, and that means you skip a note. So this would play 3, 2, 1, 1, 3 if we didn't reach with our hand, which is the whole idea behind this exercise. Okay, next one, right hand finger 1 has C, and then I see the same note, so it'll be the same finger. Then I have a line to a line. That's a skip. So what finger will I play after 1? Yes, I'll play 3. Then I see this bottom line again, so I'll play the same finger again. And then from this line, I go to this line. So here we have, from line to line, a skip up to 5. So it will go 1, 1, 3, 3, 5. Then we have right hand 3 in a space and another space. So that's going to skip down, skipping a finger down to 1. And then from this one, back to the beginning space. So back up to finger 3. Then we have space to line, and these are neighbors. So down 1 neighbor to 2, and line to space, going down, down 1 neighbor to 1. Now we have right hand 5 on a line, and then we have a skip. So which finger is that going to be? Yes, and then we have from 3 down another skip, finger 1. From this line, up a neighbor, finger 2. From this space up to a line, is that finger 3? No, it's not 3, is it? It's going all the way up a 4th, and you know the pairs. If we started with 2, we're going to finish with 5. So that one's kind of interesting. It goes 5, 3, 1, 2, 5. Nice. Next, finger 5 on a line, skip, 3. Repeat, 3. Skip, 1. Neighbor, 2. Now we're going to start on 3. 3, down to 4. Skip to 2. Down to a space. From 2 down to a space that's not a neighbor, so 2 down to 5. And then 5 all the way up to G. And if I'm going up from, well, it could be G if it's bass clef. If I'm going 5, skip this space, whoa, that's a really big distance. That is actually a 5th. We haven't learned those yet, but I thought I would throw one in. Takes us all the way up to finger 1, because we have spaces for fingers 1, 3, and 5. All right, last one. We start here with left hand finger 1, then we have a neighbor down to 2, a neighbor back up to 1, from space to space, neighbor or skip. Skip to 3, and from space to space, what interval is that? Yes, a skip or a third, down to 5. Excellent. Okay, now let's look at the very last part of this page. In this section here, it shows you an example pattern. So in this case, line, 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 repeat. So the fingering for this could be 1, 3, 5, 5, because it starts on the lowest note, goes up, and repeats. So what our job is to find a shape of melody that if we connected the dots, like dot to dot to dot to dot, would look the same as this one, and we're going to circle it. So let's look at this first one. If I was going to connect the dots, it would stay the same and then go up, which is not what we did before. So we aren't going to circle that one. And then here we have going up, up, and repeat. And it's up by skip, skip, repeat. So up, up, repeat. This is the same shape, although starting on a lower note than the first one. So we don't care what the starting note is, we just want to see that same skip, skip, repeat pattern. Let's look at this one. Here we start with the skip. Oh, that's good. Oh, but then we skip back down. So if we were to draw this, we would get a shape that looks like this, instead of a shape that looks like this. So they are different. Now we have this one that goes space, 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 repeat. So we go up, up, repeat. And it's a skip and a skip and a repeat. So again, same shape, and it's the same, but we started on space notes instead of starting on line notes. So that one is the same shape. Excellent. Next line. Here we go up a 4th, down a 2nd, up a 2nd. So up a 4th, down a 2nd, up a 2nd. So let's see what we have here. From line to space, is that a 4th? Yes, it is. Up a 4th, down a 2nd, up a 2nd. That's the same shape. This one started on a higher note than this one, but it's the same shape. So up a 4th. Oh, is that up a 4th? Right away, we know this is not going to match because it only goes up a 3rd. Here we have up a 4th, down a 2nd, up a 2nd. Yes, this one matches. Here we have line to line. What interval is that? It's a 3rd. So no match. All right, here we have note, repeat, neighbor down, fourth down. So let's look at the first one. Note, repeat. Nope, not a repeat. What do we have here? Starts with a second. Here we have note, repeat, neighbor up, down a fourth. Is that the same? Note, repeat, neighbor down, down a fourth. It's not the same because this one went up where that one went down. And then we have note, repeat, down, and a fourth. This is the same. And then we have note, repeat, down, and a fourth. Again, it's the same shape as the first one. Excellent. So this is going to help us think about fingering placements and patterns for moving around on the piano keys. And when you join me in lesson number 7, we're going to learn to play The Irish Washerwoman. And I'm sure you've heard this folk song before.